Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is your friendly neighborhood Slytherin, Ren. Today I'm finally bringing you my review of the new Lethal Cosmetics 1-Up collection. I know I've kept you guys waiting on this review and I apologize. I've just been really busy, okay? I feel like life has just been yanking me around left and right in terms of work, social life, dance, activities, even just crazy world events, which we will not get into on this channel. But if you've been following the news, you'll know that something just so crazy and unexpected out of the blue has happened in Japan. Obviously, it doesn't affect my life personally, but you know, just the combination of everything going around has me on level 10, if not level 11 out of 10 for the past 6 weeks straight. So this is kind of random, but the Elvis movie is kind of low-key ruining my life.
You're looking for trouble? You came to the right place.
In a good way, I guess. I mean, in the same way that, you know how I say being an HOT fan ruins my life? Yeah, this is kind of the same thing, not on the same level, but anyway, we are not going to get into either of those today, okay? Maybe in another video if I ever get the time to do all these videos that I'm talking about. So Lethal Cosmetics, let me give you a little summary about the brand for those of you who may be new to it. I think it's pretty well known amongst the indie makeup enthusiast crowd by this point. They've been around for a few years at this point, but nevertheless, Lethal Cosmetics is an independent makeup brand based in Berlin, Germany. They are completely cruelty and vegan free. Last time I purchased from them was a while ago. They only had eyeshadow singles at that time, which I don't know if you guys remember. I actually decluttered and gave away my entire Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadow singles collection to a makeup artist friend because I just realized that I am not a singles girl at the end of the day. I prefer my shadows to be nicely packaged and pre-arranged for me in a palette much like this one. So this is the 1-Up. I keep wanting to say level up. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. But no, it's the 1-Up pressed powder palette, and as you can see, it's very retro inspired by those 90s arcade style games. You can see the screen here is even holographic. I don't know, is that the right word to describe it? Because I'm not sure if holographic is the correct term in this case, but you know what I mean, like the screen changes when you shift it around, and when you open and turn it sideways, the shadows are laid out like a video game controller. So I mean, needless to say, 10 out of 10 for packaging and concept. It's also cut very sharply around the edges, like not sharp enough to cut you or anything, but the shape is just, it's very crisply cut out, and I really appreciate that laser-like precision. I have to say, just in general, whenever I try American makeup brands in comparison with brands from other Western countries like Germany or Odin's Eye from Sweden, although they technically ship from Hong Kong and Singapore. But yeah, brands from other Western countries, I find they usually have slightly better packaging than brands from the US. Even Makeup Revolution, which you know that their formulas can be hit or miss sometimes, but I'm usually pretty impressed by their packaging, or I have been in the past. I don't plan to purchase from that brand anymore. That's just a side note. It might be in my imagination, but I just feel like on the whole, the European brands tend to have a slightly cut above average packaging than American. Not as good as Japan, but they're in the middle. So the 1-Up palette, you get 12 shadows in total, 6 mattes and 6 shimmers. I would characterize the colors as being very neon grungy, like neon, but a darker wash of neon. I mean, they fit the retro arcade aesthetic to a T. I really love the combination of mattes and shimmers and the very straightforward layout of basically just all the mattes on top and their corresponding shimmer colors on the bottom. I feel like this is so perfect, especially for people who are just wanting to start experimenting with colors, but maybe they're not ready to play with multiple bright colors in one single look like I have on today. Or even if, you know, you just prefer monochromatic looks, you prefer to keep it simple with just one statement color on the eyes. This layout is definitely tailored for that. Take any matte and shimmer vertical combination here and boom, you basically have 12 eye looks immediately that you can do with this palette alone. The only tiny gripe that I have is that Power Up and Hit Point, these two right here, are a little too similar to me. I know that they're definitely different. Like Power Up is more of a greenish base and Hit Point is a bluish turquoise, but I don't know, I just wish that one of them wasn't as dark and grungy. I don't think we need two super dark turquoisey green grungy colors in one palette. Power Up, I think if they made this more of a foresty green, still deep but more visibly green, you know, I feel like that would make it slightly better. But this is just me nitpicking. Formula wise, the shadows are just as pigmented as you would expect. The colors are just as vibrant as you would expect. Compared to the original singles that I owned, I dare say that these are slightly more tightly packed together, a little bit more firmly pressed into the pan than their regular eyeshadow singles. But I think that's actually an improvement, because I remember in the past some of the singles would literally be on the verge of crumbling if I so much as touched them lightly with a brush. So it seems like they found a great balance of pressing the eyeshadows hard enough so that they wouldn't crumble, but then keeping them soft enough so that the powder is still very easy to pick up and very blendable and all of that. I experienced virtually no fallout using this palette. I would give both the matte and shimmer formulations a 9 out of 10, which is a very, very high rating from me. Okay, usually even for like Shu Uemura and other brands, I'll typically end up at a 7 or 8 for my final rating, but yeah, I mean, it's not 10 out of 10 because, you know, they're not perfect. Like some shades, especially with some of the lighter shimmers down here, you do need to build up a little bit to get that full vibrancy. So there's a tiny bit of variability depending on the actual color. We all know that certain colors are harder to formulate than others, but even taking that into consideration, overall, I think that every shade in here is pretty consistent in terms of pigmentation and overall performance. So I'm very happy about that. One last thing I'll say, and this will pretty much end my review on the eyeshadow palette. The shimmers in this palette are very traditional, classic shimmer formulations, so they're not going to offer you that crazy duo, trio, quadruple, chromed effect that a lot of other products on the market today will. I mean, technically, according to the description, some of these shades are like duo or trio chromed shimmers, but it's not going to give you a crazy foiled effect or anything. It's not a pressed glitter, you know, it doesn't have like different sized chunks of glitter in there. It's not a crushed stone, right, which is one of Shu Uemura's special foil like formulations. Basically what I'm trying to say is that it's not fair to judge these eyeshadows by those standards. They are just very basic, classic OG style shimmer formulations that are in a variety of fun colors and for the most part show up pretty vibrantly and reflectively on the skin, but do not expect anything past that. Just to demonstrate what I mean visually, I have placed Game Over from the 1UP palette next to this pink crushed stone formulation from the Shu Uemura Nude Punk eye palette right here. I know these are like completely different shades of pink to begin with, but you can see clearly that the Shu Uemura formulation is super foiled and almost mirror-like, almost a solid stripe against the skin, right? Whereas the eyeshadow from the 1UP collection is, like I said so many times in this video, a basic shimmer formulation. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just thought that it was worth mentioning and clarifying because it just seems like some people out there, not throwing any shade, but it seems like they don't know how to judge exactly what they are reviewing as opposed to what they wish the palette would be, but it was never billed as that to begin with, so there's nothing for you to critique there, if that makes sense. So that's my thought on the palette. I'm having a really good experience so far. And then the other item I got from this collection is their Lumen lip gloss in X-Ray, this shade right here. You guys know my fetish for clearish blue lip gloss and lipstick even in 2022. Yes, this one has a beautiful like pinkish ship to it, so it has pink, blue, and gold glitter reflex. I stay loving the combo of like hot pink and sky blue or robin's egg blue together. I feel like it just epitomizes the whole Y2K aesthetic. I'm really pleasantly surprised with just how much I'm enjoying this lip gloss because, to be very honest, I wasn't expecting much. I do tend to favor a more slippery, watery lip oil type of formulation with no stickiness whatsoever these days if I'm doing a shiny lip, because that's how Japanese and Korean formulas tend to be these days, and I find it to be really comfortable as well. Some brands, the formulas do come off a little bit cheap, but for the most part I do enjoy that standard over here. So this one I was like, I don't know, because even if it ends up just being the slightest bit sticky, I probably will end up not liking it because I simply don't have the tolerance for that type of thing anymore. But I have to say this formula really exceeded my expectations. It is a little bit of that more classic thicker lip gloss formulation, so it has enough grip to like stay put and cling to wherever you apply first on your lips, but then it won't stick your lips together when you're talking and stuff, which is amazing. I've ran into a couple of lip gloss formulations that have managed to pull this off. MAC lip gloss not being one of them, okay? Get it together, Mac.
Stop it. Get some help.
But this one definitely does accomplish that. It's super comfortable as well because you don't feel the glitters against your lips. It's just overall very smooth, very nice feeling. It also has a very, very mild, sweet minty smell. It says bubblegum on the description, but very, very mild, so it doesn't bother me at all. Actually, I quite like it. I've also left this lip gloss on for several hours at a time before, so I can say that it does not do that annoying thing when it dries up where it shrinks and then kind of prunes your lips up with it. No, this fills in your fine lines if you have any really beautifully upon initial application, and then it just stays that way throughout the entire wear time. I feel zero like tugging or shrinking whatsoever. Even when it's completely dried up, which that takes forever by the way, my lips feel completely nourished and plump, and it's just great. There's no peeling. I might have to say 10 out of 10 for this lip gloss actually. I should have gotten more. Yeah, imagine that. This surpassed even the eyeshadow palette in terms of overall rating. Go figure. Before I go, I have a little Lethal Cosmetics story time for you. It's basically just my interactions with and thoughts on the brand as a whole. When I first uploaded my Instagram reel of the palette swatches for this 1UP palette, I uploaded in 4 places in total, 2 Instagram accounts, right? Mine and my cat's. My TikTok and YouTube shorts. Lethal hit me back on every single one of those platforms within 24 hours, meaning they liked the video or they left a comment, probably both. They also reposted my reel to their Instagram story, which I was very happy about. And then it wasn't even just that reel. I made a different one, like a cute little fun unboxing video with my cat Maxine scolding me for buying too much makeup again. They commented on that as well, and even on my YouTube shorts, which I didn't even tag their channel. I don't think I put any hashtags in the back end either, but somehow they found my video and commented on it. And I noticed this happened every single time in the past as well. Every time I would tag them on Instagram for something. Back then I had like even less followers than I do now. So considering how small their company still is, I can't imagine that their social media team is composed of more than a handful of people at most, maybe just 1 or 2. I don't know, maybe they're a little bigger than I think they are, but regardless, you know, considering that they're still an indies brand with limited resources, I just feel like it's impressive that their social media etiquette is on point. You can tell with Lethal Cosmetics that they're truly dedicated to watering and nurturing the customer base that they already have, as opposed to other brands that seem more like they prioritize getting more customers and more sales. Nothing wrong with that, like obviously this is a business after all and everyone has their own bottom line to meet. But I just want to point out that with Lethal Cosmetics, I can definitely feel the subtle difference there in terms of where their priorities lie. I'm sure Lethal is also trying to expand and reach more people, but for the most part, I feel like they're very dedicated to serving their ideal customer, I think is a good way to put it. This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I actually left them a slightly nasty comment a couple of years ago, which haunts me to this day apparently, since I'm still, like, I'm telling you about it years later. I would never do this now, by the way. It's just not even worth it, and I'm not even bothered about stuff like this anymore, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was basically just like, you know, you never feature Asian models on your page or something like that. I think I was just salty because I spent like my entire week's paycheck on their eyeshadows, and then I go to their Instagram page, I don't even see a single Asian model, so it just got under my skin a little bit. But that was in my head, right? It was not really them. And I was probably low-key frustrated that they would not repost my crappy eyeshadow look. It was bad though, so why would they, you know? I totally understand in hindsight. But yeah, the thing is though, they actually responded to me very kindly and professionally. They said something along the lines of, you know what, you're right. We are taking this into consideration, and moving forward, we're going to be more mindful of having more inclusivity in our marketing. So I kind of felt stupid and didn't say anything after that, forgot about the interaction. Well, lo and behold, fast forward a few years later, if you go to their Instagram page, they do actually feature and repost quite a bit of Asian creators now, as well as other creators of color. I'm not saying that my little comment a few years ago resulted in all of this, but the fact that they said they were going to improve on this and they actually stayed true to their word just made me gain respect for them on a whole new level. And then coupled with the fact that they've just been so consistent with their relationship building and transparency with their audience throughout all these years, which I can speak to from firsthand experience. Like I said, they've never let a single post of mine go unanswered or unacknowledged. So I say all this to say that Lethal Cosmetics is a brand that I truly rock with. I feel really good about buying from them. I feel like I can trust them. They're very straightforward. They're not trying to pull the wool over my eyes in any type of way. Odin's eye. Yeah, they just are what they are. And that's why they're gonna get all my money. And just on the off chance that anyone from the Lethal Cosmetics team is watching right now, which they honestly might be, judging from their track record, just throwing it out there, you know, I would not be opposed to getting a discount code that I can offer to my followers. We could keep it really simple, like Ren10, you know? I feel like that rolls off the tongue really nicely. Ren10, 10% off for Ren's followers. I know I'm a smaller creator, I'm considered like a micro influencer, but I do think that there are people who legitimately purchased stuff from Lethal off of my previous review videos and swatch videos, which still get views to this day, by the way, the ones of their original eyeshadow singles. So just a thought, you know, it wouldn't be for me, it would be for my subscribers, because they do have really amazing products, and why not? So that's the end of my review. You can click off here if you were just interested in hearing my thoughts about the products. If you want to see how I achieved my entire look today, you can stick around for the application footage. Thank you so much for watching as usual, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!